Hello, I'm Chanley, and I've recently gone through a deep transformation in my own life, in my understanding of self-worth and how to cultivate that and where the focus should lie. And I felt as though I have an interesting perspective that might be able to aid you in recognizing that the only person in which you need to seek acceptance and love from is your spirit man, is God, is the true self, if you will, the being which resides within. This philosophy of living, if you will, can be called the applause of one, which simply means that there is only one being which you search acceptance from, and you receive it infinitely by simply just being who you are and loving what is playing out as you. For there is only one creator. There is only one who loves us beyond convention, who sits outside of time and experiences all. That is one force, and that force is within you. But I'm less talking about our nature as one connected energy and more upon the integration of recognizing that you are the one as a human being, not anything else, just a human being. You are the one, and you are perfect. And I love you because I love myself. I feel free to express my love to others. And that's what is accessible when you start living for the applause of only one, instead of for a crowd or for your family or for your community. Not to say it's not healthy and incredibly powerful to connect with beings outside of yourself. But I've noticed within my own life, as well as within the life of my friends and family, that we too often credit someone else's opinion over that of our own spirit man, when there is no one who knows better for us than our spirit man, than our inner guiding light. And if we can open up to that light and allow it to shine forth freely without judgments of ourself, right? Because other people are fickle, and they're gonna, they may love you one day for doing something and hate you the next day for doing basically the same thing, which is why you can't rely on an exterior force to build a foundation upon. That foundation must be laid brick by brick within your soul, within your heart, within your very essence. There will never be anybody more capable of taking care of you than you are for yourself, because God created you that way. And there is only one creator, and he makes no mistakes. It is perfected glory, experiencing itself in all forms. And the more you can relax into this presence of oneness within yourself, the more love, connection, and true engagement with those who you do love and want to extend out to, and whose opinions do matter to you, will be able to flourish within you, right? Because when you have a sense of true self, when you have a sense of identity and a reference point, then these things that people are bringing into your awareness hold more validity, and they just reaffirm and confirm what you're already experiencing within your inner world. Self-love, in combination with God's love, is the ultimate combination for life on this planet. Because I find it very important to recognize our stance as a human being. Spiritual communities and philosophies are all about oneness and all about interconnectedness, and that we truly are the supreme creator, playing out in all of its many forms. But at this stage as an incarnated human being in physical form, it is incredibly important for us to focus here in the physical, for that is where we are. Not to say that meditation, yoga, and these other things which can access our more divine state and higher essences aren't vital and don't hold an important part of our path, but ultimately they are just openings to integrate deeper knowledge and anchor that into this reality. Everything returns back into this reality while we are here. That's why when you dream, you wake up back here. You may have been a lion or an eagle flying and soaring across the skies in your dreams, but when you wake up, you return to your human form. For this is the form that the one creator dreams you to be and wants you to be and prefers you to be. And so through self-acceptance and recognizing that there is that divine presence that is pushing forward and manifesting all things according to the plan in which needs to be played out, the easier it is just to be yourself, because you don't got to worry about how things are going to work out. All you got to worry about is where you're at now. For this present moment is exactly where you're supposed to be. If you were supposed to be somewhere else, you'd be there, but you're not. You're right here watching this video of a Chan informing you about your glory. And that is truly where you are supposed to be. For God makes no mistakes, and everything is in divine alignment. Everything is continually moving us forward on our grand return home. But that grand return home doesn't have to be after this life if we don't want to. Some religions encourage the offsetting of divinity or samadhi or tranquil holiness till afterlife. But like Christ taught, the kingdom of heaven is neither here nor there, but lies in each and every one of you. The kingdom of heaven is your heart. When you can connect the grounding energies of this beautiful planet with the higher cosmic knowledge of our divine nature and merge them together into your heart space, you're living in samadhi. You're living in heaven. You're living in the state. From that state, you can begin to see that all things are important and that you are exactly who you are supposed to be right now. For God gives what we are able to handle and properly use at this time. He's not going to give somebody something which is beyond what they can do. He is going to give you things that are beyond your personal capability, but that is only to drive you to rely on Him instead of your lacking belief systems which have been given and entranced upon you from the spiritual powers of this world. What He truly desires is connection, is intimate, one-to-one, face-to-face engagement, so that He can take care of everything for you. Just like it's a parent-child relationship. Parents want to take care of every little detail of their children's life. They want to make sure that they are loved, supported, and cared for at every step along their way. There is no difference between our cosmic Father and us. He wants to support us. The biggest thing keeping Him from supporting us is ourselves getting in the way and adopting belief systems which are detrimental to our heart and to our connection and to the truth in which we feel resonating inside of us. Because the truth that is inside of you is the truth in which you are supposed to be following. It may change, it may evolve and grow in all sorts of different ways, but as long as you're continually intercessing for your soul and reflecting upon what your soul is bringing to you, you are going to be okay, and you're going to be more than okay, because God's going to support you. When you get out of your own way and you say, I am but a humble servant, I am but a vessel, mold me, use me as you want, as this world needs a being to be, express through me that divinity, which that is when true power, that is when true peace and interconnectivity occurs. Is when we get out of the way of God's plan, and instead of trying to, get God to bless our plan, building up our own foundational construct and being like, man, I really hope I get this blessing. That's a fun way to go about it if you want to pretend. Or you can just be like, God, dude, what's your plan, bro? And he'll be like, here you go. There's my plan. And then you'll be like, oh, that's really difficult. It's like, no, it's not. I'm God. I create everything. You're like, really? It's like, what do I got to do? It's like, why don't you just... Which God replies, trust me enough to take a single step. Don't worry about the outcome. Don't worry about the rewards that you may receive or the people that you're going to engage with. Trust me and take the step, and I will manifest the path for you, and it will be beyond your highest desires. For the path in which I have bestowed within you is that of your soul's calling, and it is what you yearn for since you were a child to express upon this planet. And if you will just allow me to take care of all the details, and you'll just trust me enough to love and surrender into this present moment, all will be taken care of for you. For I am your creator, and I am your loving Father who wants to support you and who wants to lay down this path of freedom and excellence, so that way we can move forward in a grandiose state of being on this entire planet. Not just individuals aspiring to be something which they believe would yield them some sense of worth, when ultimately the end of their life comes and they've recognized that a lot of what we identified as worth really was just worthless. Meaning that it didn't feed our soul, it didn't feed anyone else's soul, it didn't make a lasting impact on both our self as well as others. But when we walk on God's path, when we open up to the divine will, which is beckoning to be portrayed through us, then everything we do, a simple gesture of opening a door, a hug, a kind smile, becomes a revolutionary force for conscious expansion and evolution on this planet. What we see as small and mundane is actually some of the most important and vital things for the entire transformation of the collective consciousness. It is actually the tiny little trusting moments where we surrender into love that make the grandest difference in the long run, right? Like I like to look at it like you can integrate and heal and transcend your energy, or you can simply move it around, right? So if you're getting mad and angry and forcing your will upon somebody, not to say that it's not a good thing for you to express the way that you are feeling, it's just that some people don't understand that they have a choice when it comes to how they're experiencing their reality, and so they continually get further and further away from their center, and so it's actually their anger and their resentment towards the world is built off of a fracture in their perception, right? And so we can recognize that these fractures are just that, they are something that has been distorted, and if they were simply loved and supported in the way that their God would, if they were aware of the God within them, then that wouldn't even be a part of their experience. It's vitally important for all emotions and all things to be experienced and to be processed, but it's also even more important to be consciously aware that you are going through an experience. Emotions and thoughts are not you. They are simply energetical forces which are being processed through you, right? We can think, we can feel by our conscious will, but most of the time emotions are arising because of reactions to stimuli in which we find familiar to previous situations, which we have either positive or negative connotation with, which then triggers that emotion to arise. The same thing with thoughts. There is this conscious stream that is coming through that is usually based on past or future, past experience or future expectations, which is altering the way that we are perceiving our mind. Here in my country, at least from the people that I generally communicate with, we strongly associate mind with our physical brain, which is not entirely the full story. Your mind is actually your entire physical form. your whole entire body is your mind, right? I encourage everyone to look into what is called physiology, which is the study of the body and the way that it works and how it influences the way that we feel. Largely to do, our emotions largely have to do with the way that we carry ourselves physically. Because we, here in the Western world, we focus all of our energy up in this thought form and think that it's all about breaking things down and analyzing and figuring all this stuff out. And it's like, these are thoughts, these are ideas, everything is coming through my brain. When not realizing, the brain is simply an analyzing, processing tool for the heart's expression, right? So your energy starts in your heart space and then is pumped to your brain and then is filtered through this and then is shot down into your gut space. Which then enacts you to your will to go out and do stuff, which I will have a video on explaining in further detail. I like to refer to it as the triadic nature of the human vessel. We have 3 brains. I won't get into that all right now, but it's definitely something I look forward to sharing more insight with you on the future. But right now, what I'm trying to get across to you is that you have the ability to take control over your reality, not be in control of your reality, but take control of it by surrendering into the moment, by surrendering to love, by surrendering to the grace which is always readily available to be poured over you. That is where your control comes. It's not like, I get to manipulate the forces of creation to abide by my will. It's more along the lines of I'm expressing my divine truth, and that resonates things into my experience, which are of like frequency, right? Because in this universe, like frequencies come together so that they may transcend to become something grander than what they are as just individual parts, while still holding the vital essence of those individual expressions. So we are transcending into a higher state of being, more of a light consciousness, more of a light being, but the individual essences are actually incredibly important to this unfolding of collective ascension, because you gotta have the parts working together to ascend in order for the whole to do the same. It ultimately comes down to each and every one of us and how much we're willing to allow God to completely permeate our being. Like, are we going to allow the virus to take over of God? Which sounds scary, but I said that purposely because it's like, if you think you can do better than the divine architect who orchestrated the entire creation, the one who holds the oceans at bay, who literally has the stars and suns and moons all inside of his hands, go for it. But if you want the easy path, which is right down the middle, straight line to your full realization, then get out of your way and start searching for the applause of one, the only one who can truly satisfy, the only one who's going to bring you the level of love and connectivity that we all are seeking here on this planet. I love you. Namaste. The divine within me sees the divine within you. And I hope that you have a gracious rest of your day. May God permeate your being and take over.